Welcome to the Better Man Podcast with Ivan and Sumedh. This podcast is all about how to be an optimal, conscious male in today's society. Join Ivan and Sumedh as they go deep into the rabbit hole of personal growth, mindset, social dynamics, and spirituality. Are you ready to be a better man?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Better Man Podcast with Ivan and Sumedh.
Yeah.
To kick us off, yeah. We're gonna go ho. We're gonna go ho. No, we're gonna go straight into our affirmation for the episode. Everybody, repeat after me. Today, I choose to be aligned with my path. Today, I choose to be a better version of who I am pretending to be. Today, I choose to be a fucking better man. Amen.
Amen. That's right, guys. Now, I just want you to rub your hands together. We're going to create some static energy, some electrical prana, some chi, whatever you want to call it. Take that energy. You feel some tingles between your fingers. Just take that energy ball and put it towards your heart, because we are both compassionate men and we're warriors. We're both. So let's embrace our heart centers as well as we begin this episode. This episode is all about sounds. Now, Ivan over here, if you know him, he's an expert at Minecraft for your abs, Minecraft for your soul. He's basically one of those guys who basically has a very artistic vision, and he's always working at bettering himself. Because I think both of us, we have this kind of maximizer kind of personality. We just want to figure out, how can we make things much faster? How can we make things more effective? How can we do things in a shortcut that's actually working smarter and not harder? Hey there, man. How's it going?
What's up? Yo, and on the other side, I'm in London. Sumedh is in India. And I think today is a very special episode because we're talking about sound healing. And actually, Sumedh, he got his PhD, his dissertation, the thing that you need to give to the university so that you can graduate officially. Like the hardest thing that you'll do all year.
Facts.
His dissertation was in binaural beats and how sound frequencies affect you. Right. So pay very close attention to his words.
Hey there, guys. So I don't know if any of you guys have heard of binaural beats or what it is, but basically two different tones in two different ears. You're wearing earphones or headphones. It creates a third frequency, right? And that frequency changes up your brain waves. Now, there are many different types of frequency, and basically in my master's and my thesis, I wrote about creativity and mood and how those can change as we listen to binaural. So that was really what my focus was on. So I made a systematic review of all of the binaural studies there were. That was it was a difficult process, to be honest with you. Finding all the studies was really it was tough, man. However, I found a lot of interesting correlations. First of all, delta waves, right? Delta waves are things that help you. This is associated with dreamless sleep. So it's basically 0.1 to 4 hertz, right? And if you need help going to sleep, delta waves are your go-to. Then we have theta waves. Theta waves are what you use when you have rapid eye movement, as well as used in meditation when you want to be super creative. And then you have...
Hold on, real quick. I want to mention this because you mentioned rapid eye movement. That is the point whenever you're sleeping, whenever you have the most intense dreams, the most vivid hallucinations, where you're like, is this real? So that's what happens in the theta waves.
Absolutely. And children who are 7 years or younger, they're automatically in a theta state. They're like in hypnosis. So whatever you learn during
Mm.
that time is super key, super important. Um,
Mm.
then you have the alpha waves, which is basically, if you want to think of alpha, right, an alpha male, right? um, Alpha waves is basically relaxed wakefulness. It's not too like super agitated and frantic. It's basically alert, but then there's also a calmness, a collectedness about you.
Mm-hmm. If you
Uh,
want to learn more about alpha, head back to the first episode.
absolutely. And then we have beta brain waves, which is basically what everybody is kind of currently in. It's waking consciousness. It can increase with anxiety, right? When you're super stressed out, when you're anxious, when you're intellectualizing something, when you're trying to find the answer. That's basically what a lot of people are in, or is there in beta waves. However, above that, even greater than that, is gamma waves. Now, this is like Dexter Boy genius type of brain waves. This is like faster cognition, like accelerated learning, like monks trying to achieve this state through really, really deep levels of consciousness, channelers trying to achieve this state, right? A lot of people who really want to get to that super consciousness try and go into gamma. So yeah, this is a really interesting topic to me. Also, I watched something recently about musicians and artists, especially rappers, them creating sounds in 432 hertz, which is like the basically like the Schumann resonance or the miracle tone, as they say, compared to
Mm-hmm.
440 hertz. And so basically,
Mm.
like 432 is like the vibrations of the planet or nature itself. And 440 hertz is like introduced by some kind of like a Nazi minister of propaganda or some shit. So basically, yeah, just a subtle difference in hertz,
Mm-hmm.
but it creates such a different effect in the
For sure.
in the listener.
Yeah, if you've ever seen the image, what I can describe it as like, so what physics people do is they take a plate, right? Just like a thin metal plate, and they can adjust the vibration. They have a machine, right, where they adjust the vibration, and they toss a bunch of sand
Mm,
into the metal plate. And when it's in 440, the not so good one, it's like very random. It's almost scary to see how it's like all over the place. There's no pattern to it. It's
mm,
very chaotic, very, very chaotic. And the thing is, most music is in that range. Even orchestra bands is in that range. The government specifically told these motherfuckers, yo, we're gonna change it to 440 because they knew it's fucking you up, right? And the other one, the what is it, 443?
432, yeah.
432. That one has like a most beautiful shape. Literally, sound has a shape. Think sound is invisible
Mm.
energy, right? And it
Yep.
can hurt you. You know the fucking dogs, whenever that you blow the whistle,
Yeah, the
right?
dog whistle.
And and,
Yeah.
and they're like
Yeah.
what would you say is a very good hertz to listen to if you want to get creative?
I would say something around the theta range. And actually, if you guys want to get into the flow state, that's right between, and this is kind of like my expertise, is the flow state. So it's the alpha theta bridge, right? So it's like right between your subconscious and your conscious mind. It's a bridge. You're walking across the bridge. So I would say 8 hertz,
Mm.
something around 8 hertz, and maybe a little bit above 8 hertz, 9 hertz, something like that would be great
Mm.
because you're touching that theta pattern, which is great for creativity. Might make you a little bit sleepier, but actually creativity is more closer to your dream states. This is what I learned from like a psychology class I had in college. It was told like to drink chamomile tea rather than coffee if you want to be creative, because chamomile tea makes you a little bit sleepier, and then more ideas are like flowing from that space of dreaminess.
True. True. That's so true. Like, I'm sure our viewers can recall, like, being in bed, you're getting ready to go to sleep. Next thing you know, poof, you get like a thought rush in from your subconscious. It just
Mm.
pushes right
Yeah.
right through your subconscious into your conscious, and you're like, this is such a good business idea, or this is such a good idea for a video, or whatever problem you have, like in that moment, right before you're about to go to sleep. That's when you're like, I'm a genius. I'm a fucking genius.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And like, I think that there's also like something called hypopompi and hypogogia. I could be pronouncing them wrong, but basically they're like the little, like, right before you go wake up and right before you go to sleep, you have these little like lights, like these little flickers of light that affect
Mm,
you. And those are apparently supposed to be very, like those little hallucinations you get, like right before you're
mm.
about to escape the dream world and into waking consciousness, supposed to be very good for your creativity. So I don't know if anybody else has experienced that, but sometimes that little hazy feeling can give you really clear insights and ideas that just rush into the surface, like that breakthrough, right? The surface. So that's really cool. And, you know, Einstein said this, right? Future of medicine is frequency. Tesla had this quote, the secret of the universe. I'm sure you've heard of it. Secret of the universe is in energy, frequency, vibration, right?
Uh-huh.
So we hear it so much from these scientists who are kind of like predicting that sound is actually the medicine of the future, and how we're going to basically understand something which is invisible to us. That's the real mission for us. It's like, how can we, because I know a lot of people get triggered by the word energy or frequency or resonance
Because
listening.
it's so broad, you know what I mean?
And I know a lot of people that do. I bring up that word and they're just like cringing, or they see it as too, yes, I don't know. But we humans want to feel safe, you know? And since frequencies are invisible to our eyes, we fear it like it's a ghost, or it's something paranormal, or it's something, we can't see with our naked eyes. So, as a coach, I genuinely believe in the power of sound healing. And resonance is something we're made of, but we're also interpreting
Mm-hmm.
in our environment. Like, I'm sure some people listening love ASMR
Definitely.
and like, listening to
Uh-huh.
whispers, or like they love the the sounds of a babbling brook, like water, or like rain falling, all
Mm-hmm.
sorts of sounds.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Even and like if we think about it, like our minds are triggered to respond to certain frequencies, right? Like if you speak affirmatively, right? Like there's a sound to sound affirmatively. And when you speak like this, you literally get a response. Like today, I'm in the Tesco, I'm shopping, I'm in the self-checkout line, I'm waiting. There's these girls that are passing by. One of them is pretty cute, right? The one I think is cute, she's wearing, I'm like looking at her, and she's wearing like a cow print skirt, right?
Mhm.
And she's walking my way, and I'm just like, moo, moo, in the middle of the supermarket, right?
Yeah,
and
which is the
and
opposite of
like,
Om for the people listening. Moo.
oh shit, true. And then basically right, so she didn't find that funny. She smiled, but I just started laughing. I just started laughing. And then I'm checking out now. I'm purchasing. I finally got to the register, and I have to get my receipt, right? And I having some problems with the self checkout. So I turn around, and then I go, "Excuse me." And I think that was kind of my tone. Let me try to recreate it, right? I was like, "Excuse me." And in that moment, right, the lady, she turns around, but also the two girls that I mooed at, they turned around like, who, right? Because like
Mm.
it was like they felt like I was talking to them, right? Like I commanded them to turn around, right? And then we could even think about trustworthiness, right?
Yeah.
How do you sound genuine? How do you sound trustworthy, right? Like I know how to sound trustworthy. And that's why I can come across as genuine to a lot of people. And of course, I'm fucking genuine. You know what I mean? Like, I just learned to sound genuine because I know that if you have uncertainty within you, that will come across through your sound, right? Let me see. Let me try to sound genuine. I promise you that I will do my best and I will get you to the top. You who's listening right now. I know where you want to get to. I've had those challenges. Do you see how I captivated you in that moment? You were like, ah, right?
Awesome, man.
What are
Yeah,
some
I
other
get what you're
what are some other
saying.
sounds? Seductive? There's a seductive sound as well, right? There's sounds
Right.
for all shit.
It's more of like a soft tone. It's like more of a whisper. And basically, there's so many different sounds, and I get what you're saying about sounding genuine because it's like you want to believe what you're saying yourself if you want someone else to believe in what you're trying to tell them, right? So if you're not believing in your words, and if you're not impacting yourself with your words, like I say some shit and I'm like, did I just say that? That was so cool, right? You have
He's like,
moments like that. What,
yeah.
did that just come out of my mouth? And it's not planned, right? It's just you have access, you've given, the access code to these awesome words. It's
Mhm.
all in the state of consciousness. So if you're feeling good, you're gonna sound good, right? You're gonna sound melodious and like you're gonna sound really
Mhm.
nice to listen to. If you
Mhm.
immediately imagine like how does a Disney villain sound? Tell me, Ivan, how does a Disney villain sound?
Hmm.
I wasn't
Like that.
thinking about that.
So,
Like,
if you notice, all Disney villains they have like a posh tone, and they have like oh,
right, it's like
like dismay in their tone, right? You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, I get
Mm.
what you're saying. And but usually it's kind of like harsh or it's like wicked or it sounds kind of like breaking. Like it's not a very soft and smooth tone. It's a very harsh and like abrasive tone. It's like right, that kind of tone. So basically take that
Mm.
tone and compare it to like let's say a prince or a princess. How would they sound?
Mhm. Mhm.
Right?
Definitely much. They would definitely sound much slower when they talk.
Mhm.
They would make sure to pronounce every single word,
Right, they're taking their
right?
time. They have all the royalty. They have all the time in the world. It's kind of like that kind of
Mhm.
way that they're speaking. It's like not super
Mhm.
rushed, like I have to get to him. I have to capture So it's very like almost like you're speaking underwater or something like that, right? Um,
Mm. Yo, you know what I've noticed about laughing?
mhm.
Like, there's like so many different kinds of laughs,
Yeah,
and you can tell what somebody's thinking depending on the way that they laugh,
yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Like, like I only started thinking about this because I was with some girls, and they were like, I was like, why is she laughing? And then her friend said, it's nervous laughter. And then I was like, how can she tell that it's nervous laughter? Like, right? And then I started paying attention to it, right? And nervous laughter sounds a bit like, right?
Yeah,
Some, and
exactly.
then like mischievous laughter sounds like,
Exactly. Yeah. It's really funny.
um,
And also, the one that confuses me really is Santa Claus's laughter. Like the ho, 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 ho. Like that's clearly a fake laugh, but it's very like I don't know. It's hearty. It's like a fat guy who's like really like he's enjoyed his meal.
ho 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 ho.
Yeah, like his belly's full, and he's like
Om.
a Gregorian chanter or something.
Om.
Right.
Home, home, home. Wait, it's oh, oh, oh. Oh, 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 oh.
It's like he's about to
Maybe.
climax.
Definitely. I'd like to see that happen. All
Anyway.
over his beard. All over the presents. Oh, you wake up. You're a kid, right? You're wearing your Spider-Man pajamas.
Yeah.
You look under the tree. Oh, shit. There's just like this 20-foot green tree with the fucking leaves spreading down. And there's just 50.
Is coming. Man, that's great.
That's funny.
Have you ever, Ivan, have you ever walked into an environment and you immediately like feel something? You know, if it's a really nice party, you know it's going to be a good party. Like even before you walked in, like you kind of have this vibe. Or you walk into an environment where somebody like talked about something really taboo and you feel that toxicity in the environment. Has that ever happened to you?
Probably, honestly. Probably. Definitely. But I don't know. Where are you trying to go with this?
Well, I was just thinking, since these frequencies are invisible, maybe they can't be seen, right? But they can definitely be felt.
For sure.
So the fact that we can't see them doesn't mean they aren't effective, right?
It's like a punch, you know?
How so?
Like, let's just say you're standing right there, right in front of me, right? And I'm like, you know what? Fuck Sumedh. And then I'm just like, boom, right? And you don't move. You're just in the way of the energy of the fist, right? This kinetic energy, right? It's in motion, right? Like, and let's just say you had your eyes closed, you weren't paying attention, so you couldn't see it coming at you, right? Now, let's take that into sound. You don't see sound coming at you, right? But if somebody's yelling at you, you can still feel their energy, right? Like there's like that tone of hate that comes. Like, let's just say you're really getting yelled at, right? You feel so pissed, and you can't help it because it's been triggered by the sound. Right? Like the sound made you say, it went into your brain, and your brain was like, you're in danger, fight or flight, right?
Yeah.
Fight or flight. Literally, one time I almost punched my mom because I was like, she was yelling at me with this tone of deep hate. It was real, and I was like, and I had to run away instead, right? Because I was like, this is not a good situation. So that's why that fight or flight kicked in, right? Because of the sound, the tone. I was in the way of the tone.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's so important to notice that tone, and we talked about that, I'm sure, in our episode. If you guys haven't seen our episode about women, we talked about how the caring tone can diffuse any argument. And, you know, it's so interesting when people are speaking, they all have their unique way of what they resonate with, right? So, for instance, a person who speaks in a very specific kind of accent, maybe sometimes you won't understand them. Let's say, like, right, a gangster rapper talking to someone from like a church, very prestigious, like like it's completely two different ways of speaking. And so the sounds are kind of, the language is kind of being distorted in a sense because of the accent or the sound. You get what I'm saying? So it's like certain slangs don't register with the pastor that maybe the rapper is trying to say. Or certain words that the pastor is trying to say doesn't resonate with the rapper. It's like, what is this guy talking about? So I think language is, a lot of it is spoken, and I'm sure a lot of it is unspoken too. Like when you listen to music from other countries, for instance, you kind of get a feel about what the song is about. Like, you know, I know a love song in another country, right? I know
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely tell
Mm-hmm.
because it's in the tone, it's in the way that it sounds.
Mm-hmm. For
Yeah.
sure. I think the crazy thing is that like you can just tell what somebody's thinking depending on what they're saying, right?
Yeah.
Like you can tell if somebody's feeling unconfident or confident. You could say the exact same thing to a girl, and depending on how you say it, it's gonna tell her about your confidence level. Isn't that just think about that shit? Actually think about that.
Mhm.
And if you're having bad results with women or even just meeting friends, it might not be what you're saying, but it's how you're saying. And you have to mechanically change it. You actually have to be like, okay, how would somebody sound somebody who's a millionaire? How would they sound?
Yeah.
Right? And
Whatever it is
you're
that
like,
you want. Yeah.
mm-hmm. How would a king sound? Use your imagination, man. Use your imagination. Tap into the imagination and then speak. You can practice speaking. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I've sat in front of a mirror and I've practiced talking.
Mhm. Yeah. I used to remember like back in the day when I first started rapping, I had a very, very high pitched voice because I was like 13 or 12 or something. I
Oh
didn't have
yeah.
the voice for rapping yet. So I would just write stuff, right? So it was like, yo, what's going on? Like it was very high pitched, right? It was really funny to like listen to those tracks back. It was on my
Wait, hold on. So what's a rapper voice?
rapper voice.
Yeah. You just mentioned it. You said you didn't have a rapper voice. What's a rapper voice?
Right. Well, I don't think there's any specific kind of rapper voice. It's just speaking with rhythm and speaking with melody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Mm-hmm. Okay.
you're kind of just like speaking in rhythm to because rap stands for rhythm and poetry. So if it's
Mm-hmm.
just poetry and there's no rhythm, it's not rap, right? It's spoken word or it's something different. So
Mm.
I didn't have the maturity in my voice yet that my words landed. It wasn't deep enough, right? And that just
Mm.
reminded me like I recently went through a study where they were correlating how deep a person's voice is. This is in men that they did the study. And they noticed that it was such a slight difference, but the people who had deeper voices were paid more. They had more
Mm.
salaries. So that just tells you how important the way we perceive someone's sound is to our ears.
Mm-hmm.
That it can even go as far as to how much you're
How
getting,
much money? Yeah.
how much
What
money
would you tell somebody? What would you tell somebody who says they have a low pitched sounding voice? What would you tell them
in
to
terms of
do?
what, like to do
To
what
to
exactly?
to change it?
You mean a high pitched sounding voice?
Yeah.
Because you said low pitch. I was just wondering.
Oh fuck, my bad. Yeah, I meant high pitch.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
because if they have a deep voice, I'm like, you cool, bro. Okay. Well, practice listening to some people who have a deep voice. And I
Mm-hmm.
think by listening, we as humans learn by imitation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as you're a child growing up, maybe your voice hasn't matured yet. Try and sing lower octaves, right? Try and put yourself into different situations where you feel that resonance in your voice, like the like try humming. Actually, humming is a great technique where you
Mm-hmm.
like try humming in different tones, like different pitches. So let's say your hum right now is it's very high. So right now you want to bring it lower. So you want to go and try and resonate down here for longer. If you're changing your default state of how you're sounding, your voice is going to mature naturally and it's going to change.
Mm-hmm.
So
Definitely,
practice,
definitely.
just practice. Yeah.
I kind of wanted to mention that like it's actually changeable, right? Some people might think like, yo, I can't change my voice, like this is what it is. But it's like saying somebody who's fat, they're like, I can't get abs. Yes, you can. Yes, you can, because your abs is a muscle, and so is your throat,
Mhm.
right? Um, I used to do theater, right?
Yeah.
And
Same here.
I've done like Gaston, which had a much deeper voice,
Yep.
and I've done people like the prince from Mulan, and when he sings, he has much higher tones to speak
Yep.
in. So one thing I do want to mention, if you want to learn how to speak with a deeper tone, expand your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is right under your ribs. You push this a bit open, it gives your lungs room to breathe. Look, like hello, right? And then now I'm gonna push out all the air out. Hello. Do you notice how it's much harder to speak, first of all?
Yeah, exactly.
So the sound that it's making when you have less air, when you're not breathing correctly, you're making a specific sound that is less pleasant than the one that when you are breathing correctly, you make a more beautiful sound, a more attractive sound.
Right. And a lot of people who have nasally tones, they speak like from here, right? Whereas they could bring that sound up from the diaphragm, as you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're bringing that energy out of you instead of going right from right here. It's like, hey, 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 which is a lot of Australia, a lot of different countries, right? England and stuff. They have a very different way of speaking in their accent. It's up here.
Yeah.
Good eye, mate. It's like up here nasally. So for those people who want to get deeper voices who are from those countries, like use your diaphragm, like bring that up because it's there. It's just you have to unlock it. It's like you have the keys right there, man, but you know, you have to
That actually, yeah. And if you're thinking about public speaking, or even you're giving a presentation to, you know, potential clients, right? Or if you're just filming a video blog, whatever. If whenever you're not breathing correctly, and if you're more nasally, if you're talking more with this area, right, instead of this area, then that'll hurt your throat. It's actually very bad for your throat, and it'll damage it, right? And then you'll have problems speaking, right? So make sure that you're sounding correctly. And if you're not sounding the best way possible, that has to do something with your body, and also has to do something with your thoughts. One exercise I quickly want to give is Sumedh mentioned this earlier, and I'm just gonna like expand on it a bit. Was on humming, right? So the exercise goes like this. Right? So when you go up, you shift it into a higher tone, right? And then you shift it into a lower tone. And don't worry if you speak in a high pitched tone, because this will actually even expand it. It'll loosen it up. It'll relax your whole throat, right? If you're gonna be doing some singing, that's obviously gonna relax your throat. If you're gonna be talking to people, if you're just gonna go out, you're gonna go to a party, you really want to relax your throat so that you are calm in the environment. And if you're calm internally, you will begin to sound, right? And if you change the way that you sound, you will begin to feel calm.
Facts.
The psych.
Relax your throat, girl.
Relax your
All right, so basically, me and Ivan, we both have this kind of mantra that we tell ourselves. What you laughing at, bro?
Because I'm just thinking, like, what if the guts, right? Like you know, you're getting head from some girl, right? And you're like, yo, girl, something going on with your breathing, right? You're not sounding right. It's not sounding good.
Why do you sound like an R&B song? Like, yo, girl. It's not sounding right.
You're not sounding right.
Yeah, it's funny,
I don't know. I
bro.
was just thinking about like different frequencies to different dick sucking. That's why I was laughing.
This is the Better Man podcast, not the Better Woman podcast. All right. Um, so I was
Every day in every way.
yeah, every day in every way, exactly. We have this mantra by this man named Émile Coué. It's from the 1900s, right? A French man. He also has this one called "C'est passé," and he says it in French because it's much more better to say "c'est passé," which means like it's going away, like the pain is leaving. It's
C'est
leaving.
passé.
It's leaving. It's leaving. Instead of saying it in English, it's like it is leaving. The pain is now leaving, which is so awkward. It's like French is so smooth, right? C'est passé. C'est passé.
C'est passé. C'est passé.
Exactamundo.
ASMR, the Better Man podcast.
Okay. So yeah, basically it's every day in every way. It's getting better and better. And actually visualize what is getting better, right? Because if you're just saying it without actually visualizing what is actually improving in your life, then it's just like a routine thing you say. But if you're just saying it and you're like getting into the zone and you're like imagining you're in Hawaii, tropical beaches, hula girls, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing down there, bro?
Definitely. I'm just getting hyped as fuck, bro. Thinking of like, cause I was thinking like, we didn't plan. I mean, obviously we spoke about ahead of time, like what we kind of wanted to mention, right? But we didn't plan everything that we're gonna talk about, right? And we're gonna talk for an hour. But we're just gonna let everything sort of come out of us, like. And I'm just getting so excited thinking about sound. I'm fucking dry humping the air right now. Like
a waterfall.
Sumedh mentioned like visualizations whenever you say something, right? But then I'm here thinking like, even whenever you have a visualization, you want to hear the sound. You actually want to hear it, and that will make the visualization stronger. Like me, I hop into a Lamborghini every now and then, right? But in my mind, right? I hear the keys. I hear clicking the button, the engine turning on, the wind coming in through the holes, right? The orifices of the car, right? Right? There's somebody sitting next to me. She's a hot ass chick. I love her. I don't know who she is, but you know, in that scenario, we love each other. And then I hear her talking to me. So all of these things, the sound, right? And right now, everybody inside of your head say the Better Man podcast inside of your head. You heard it, right? Did you hear it? I heard it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, where the fuck did that sound come from? Where the fuck is it at? I heard it, but I didn't hear it with these ears. You know what I mean? Like, so our thoughts have a sound as well. So the frequency of your mind affects the frequency of your voice.
Very powerful.
Fucking damn. Oh, and the way that you hear things in here is the way that you hear things out here. Right? Yep. When you change the way that you look at things, the things that you look at change. When you change the way that you look at things, the things that you hear change. Ah!
It's so funny because when you were yelling, it was like sort of cutting off a little bit. So it's just like, woo-hoo! It was like,
oh shit, that's gonna sound cool in the replay.
It's gonna sound great. So yeah, what you were saying about thoughts as sound, right? I really resonate with that because I have this activity that I share with a lot of my coaching clients, and we characterize their inner critics, right? So that defeatist voice in their head, I get them to create a character for it. And when they have a character for it, it's like, okay, the character in my head is an old man. His name is Bob. He has a cane. He speaks very slowly to me, and he's a very old voice, right? when you have a character for your voice in your head, now you have power over it. So now whenever Bob tells you, you can't do it, you're like, Bob, get out of here.
Fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
Get off my lawn, Bob.
Meddling kids. So yeah, basically whatever voice is inside of your head, characterize it. Even the good voice inside your head, even the inspiring
Talk
voice.
shit to it. Talk shit to it. Talk shit to it, bro.
Absolutely.
I talk shit to that voice. Like anytime I hear like
comebacks.
I'm like, fuck you, like, because it's not me, right? It's like a component of your reality, right? Yeah. Of like something. It's like voices that you've heard in the world around you, internalized now, and these voices are telling. It's like your emotions bully you, right? Yeah. So bully your emotions back, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, you don't want to be too hard on yourself. Like, however, yeah, I totally get it. Like, you have to diss it back. Like, you have to have some comeback stored. Otherwise, it's just going to control your life and run you over, right? You're going to be a pushover. But instead, you want to take power over your thoughts and power over your mind. You're right in the sense that you use the word internalize, because I think affirmations and things we tell ourselves, if we start with things that are 100% true, like if you start like, I am Ivan, I'm Mexican, right? You tell yourself things which are 100% true. I'm from Texas, right? And as you start, your mind is going, yup, 100%, 100%, 100%. And then you say, I'm a badass entrepreneur, right? Your mind is more accepting of it because it's like, boom. Like, or if you're like, I'm confident, right? We're not always confident, but in that moment, your mind is more receiving. It's like you're priming your body and your mind to be more accepting of these affirmations. And that's internalizing. But when we externalize our thoughts, we're like, this is not my thoughts. This is not me. This is outside of me. These are clouds in the sky, right? So when we externalize, then that gives us a lot more power over it. But we can also use internalized sounds and thoughts to add more power to what we actually want to believe and prefer to believe.
Definitely, man. Like whenever I'm doing my affirmations, the trick is to say the word or words, combination of words, in a way that is convincing. Because I think if I read a paper and it says, and I say it out loud, and I'm like, I'm confident, I love myself, I'm ecstatic, I'm loving. Like, these are great words to use, but we're not saying them correctly. So if we're saying that in that tone, it's not going to be effective. So you need to mechanically change it, right? If I can mechanically tell myself right now, I am a giant. I am great. I feel amazing. If I can change my tone of voice to sound like I don't care, then I also can change my tone of voice to sound like I do care and like I do believe it.
Yeah, exactly. You want to say I am confident, like as if you're actually confident, not like you're saying it as a routine, right? So if you're saying, I am confident, it's like you don't care about your affirmations, bro. Like come up with something more specific to you that actually lights a fire under your ass, right? And gets you like something so specific. Like I have one which is like, you know, I'm a high-end client on stage and I see like I'm walking with groundedness and purpose and poise. Like I have this whole like affirmation. It's just like a sentence long, right? So your affirmations don't have to be super short and sweet. I mean, obviously don't add super long details to it because then your mind doesn't register it. But if it can be nice and flowing, almost like a monologue, right? Almost like a speech that you're telling yourself, like then your mind is like registering it in. It's like if you have a bunch of M&Ms, right? And you just throw a bunch of M&Ms on the floor. Like I remember you did this one time. Dropped all these M&Ms on the floor. I remember we had like we were sitting by the couches one time in UEL.
What couches? Oh,
yeah.
Inside the East building.
Yeah. You had like all the like you dropped all these M&Ms on the floor. You did a photo shoot after with the M&Ms on the floor. Anyway,
What the fuck?
that's the point. This is weird Ivan moments.
Weird.
But you have some M&Ms on the floor. But then if you throw a few Skittles in there, you're not going to really tell the difference from afar, right? You're like, oh, it's just a bunch of colored candy. However, it's the same with your affirmations, right? So it's like you have a few Skittles in there, which are your affirmations that aren't 100% true. Maybe they're 25% true. Maybe they're 13% true. But your mind can't tell the difference between real and imagined. So it's accepting it, right? So if you truly believe it and you say it like you're convincing yourself of it, and like Tony Robbins, right? I think, did you tell me this? Tony Robbins was like, as he's driving to work, he's like yelling out his affirmations. Like, I'm powerful, right? Or whatever. Like,
and there's people next to him looking at him like, what the fuck is going on, man?
Is Tony okay? Like,
oh, dude, it's okay. So I'm going to say, all right, this is where the disclaimer comes in.
We have a disclaimer so late into this episode. Like, yeah, go for it.
I'm about to say something that relates to sex, but it relates to sound at the same time.
So if you're not an adult, get off of this right now.
If you've never had sex before, if you're still jerking off right now, you're not allowed to be here. Anyway. Whenever we make sounds when we're having sex, we enjoy it more. Right? Yep. And I noticed this a few days ago because I was looking at porn and I was visualizing it, right? And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to add my own sounds. And I started just making the sound of moaning. Yeah. And that turned me on more. Like I enjoyed it more. My experience of my me time and the FBI agent looking at me jerking off.
Yeah. No, it's so true.
Us time.
Yeah, it's so true when you're making your own sounds and you're really engaging the sounds because like when you think about it, right, that's a release. It's like a letting go. And how do you think we laugh, bro? Ha 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 ha. Right? It's also release. It's also release. So if you can make a girl laugh and orgasm in that way, you can make her orgasm in the other way because girls like
for sure. Oh, dude, I never thought about it like that.
Well, now you did. Better Man Podcast. Subscribe now.
Definitely leave a fucking review, everybody. Yeah. This is an amazing. I feel like each episode just gets better.
Every day in every way.
I feel like
better and better. Every episode.
Every day in every way. Okay, hold on. If we had to rate the episodes as they go right now, how would you go?
I'm not sure. You're right. Like they get better and better because the first time we did it, it was all about, what was the first episode again?
Oh man, I don't even follow. I don't know.
Oh, it was about body language, high status body language. So yeah, that was really good. I think every episode has nuggets of wisdom, so I can't really rate them like that. It's like they're all my little babies, you know, so I have to love them the same, I guess.
Maybe.
But yeah, I really enjoyed the one about women. I think there's a lot of nuggets in there. That was episode 2. And yeah.
That one was very good. Wait, what?
No, that wasn't episode 2. That was episode 3.
Episode 2 I didn't like as much. I'd say episode 2 is probably out of including this one. I'll say episode 4 is number 1. Episode 3 is number 2. Episode 1 is number 3. And and episode 2 is number 4.
But just watch all of them just in case. They're all great.
In my personal opinion, like obviously, you know, we can say that, you know, Michael Jordan and LeBron and Dwayne Wade, they're all great players, right? That's how I see the podcast that we have. Each episode is great. But there are some players who play a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Definitely. Yeah.
Factoid. Right. So I wanted to kind of bring up the fact that music and like sound has been there since forever, bro. You know what I mean? Like they were banging drums together. Apollo was like the god of music and medicine in ancient Greece, right? I think there was another god who like cured mental disorders with songs. He had a weird name,
Mm.
Eschapulius or something like that. Anyway, Plato and Aristotle, they claimed that music affected the soul and that it affected the
Mm.
emotions. Hippocrates played music for his patients. Hippocrates was like, you know, the doctors have something called the Hippocratic Oath, and basically that's like they have to a patient who's dying or like is in need, they have to treat them no matter what if they see them in pain or in harm. That comes from Hippocrates, who's like this, I think is a god. I'm not sure, but basically in ancient Egypt too, there was like a staple. Music therapy was like a staple, right? It was like something that they kept coming back to, and like in biblical times. What are you doing, bro? Why are you looking at the podcast right now? I'm trying to
I'm tasting the air. I'm tasting the air.
tasting the sound frequencies in the air, like yeah. Yeah, instruments in biblical times, I think they were used to vanquish like evil spirits. I think,
Mm.
and like Native
Mm.
American culture also uses like song and dance to heal the sick.
Mm. For sure. Both me and Sumedh are Native American. Well, actually, you know what I'm thinking, Sumedh? I'm
What?
thinking I'm your spirit guide. Cause yeah,
What are you talking about, bro?
because I'm part Native American. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
right. Like a majority of my DNA is Native American,
Yeah, like
and
43 or something, right?
yeah. And
43%.
then you said your spirit guide is Native American.
Yeah, he is.
Oh wait. No, actually, I think it's more like our spirit guides are buddies. Like
Yeah,
they know each other,
yeah,
and they made sure that we met each other for sure, for
for
sure.
sure, dude. I'm 100% positive that that's the case.
That sounds very real.
Mm.
But yeah, definitely with like instruments of sound healing. I was in Tibetan singing bowls,
Tibetan?
right?
Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah, Tibetan.
Tibetan.
um, Tibetan. Um, and what they do is like they get a bowl. It's like a metal bowl,
Yeah.
and well, they have a bunch of different bowls, like a wide array, small ones, big ones, more round ones, and it's like titties, like all different kinds of titties, big ones, small ones, round ones, flat ones, and they put them on your body, the titties. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I mean the balls.
Yeah.
They just grab like a tit. They just grab like a tit, an individual tit. They put it on your body. No, and they bang it, right, and they bang it like each individual part.
Bang the
And
titties? Oh, the balls. Okay.
yeah, and then the funny part is that if you have energy blockers in that part of your body, the bowl will literally sound differently,
Mm.
right?
Whoa.
And then my the lady who did it for me, it's the only lady I go to. Her name is Julia. She's Russian. I'm part Russian as well. Um, part everything. Shit. I'm 0.5% Nigerian, boy. Get out of here. I can say nigga. I can say nigga, bitch. What's up? What's up, my niggas? I'm black, bitch. Don't fucking judge me. Don't judge me, bitch. All right. So anyway, so she has visions, literally, right? So in my legs, she said that the vision that she got was of a crow, like a really, really big crow, right? The crow right now, I can feel him right now because he knows I'm talking about him. And he's a good guy. He's a good boy. He likes it. He likes it. But he's kind of guarding the forest. He's my dark energy. right?
Your shadow?
Um, he's my shadow side, right? And it's very, very dark, very, very dark. Because I have a very strong positive energy, and it needs to balance out my negative, right? And then she said that like she saw him, and she was like, he opened up one eye, and he was like, he's okay, he's okay, right? And then I think she said whenever she banged it on my heart, she got a vision of like a paper cutout of a woman, and it's just like you like the sign on the restroom where the girl, she had the dress, it's a round head. She said that's what it was in my heart, right? Um and then I don't. She got two other visions that I remember quite well, but I don't know where she banged it in my body. But one of them was of me, and I'm on a horse. I'm on a Pegasus, right? And it's got these giant wings, and we're like jumping from mountain range to mountain range, and at one point the horse, he stands up. In my vision,
Wow.
like he's white. In my vision, he's white, right? And he stands up on two legs, and I'm holding on by the hair, right? And the horse like is like on the edge of a cliff, and then he just jumps. And then another part of my body, she banged it. It made a sound, and it was a goddess, and she had rainbow hair. The psychic, she told me she'd never seen anybody like this. And she told me that she too was standing on the edge of a cliff, and she was facing the ocean, right? And in her hands she had something, and she was offering it, she was giving it to the ocean, right? And she was asking her, what are you giving him? What are you giving him? And she wasn't showing her. She didn't want her to see, but she told me that I'm being protected, right? And I'm a Scorpio, and I have a water sign. So I'm like, I think it's 5 points fire, and I'm 4 points water, and 2 points earth, 1 point air, right? So I have a very strong water in me. So I think that's what she was offering it to my water side.
Okay. Damn, that's
I
really
think, yeah. I know I'm gonna go a little bit off track, but I think Sumedh, you have a very strong water. Like I
yeah.
think your water is stronger than your fire.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and water is more to do with like emotions, right? It could be.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, I think
that's one metaphor of it.
yeah. Um yeah, I was thinking about like the idea of, because I talked to a shaman once, and we had this
Mm-hmm.
intense conversation. And
Mm.
basically, wow, this podcast is getting really esoteric. I'm sure people listening are gonna love this, but we had a conversation, and she told me, like, since I was a flow coach, I had my totem animal, which in shamanic cultures, a totem animal is very different to your spirit animal, right? And
Mm.
my totem animal was a dolphin. And when I did the research, I found that dolphins, when they speak, their communication is in the same frequency range as the flow state. So that's 8 hertz. And I
Oh,
was like, what? Like, are you kidding me? Like, and like that's
so cool.
yeah, that synchronicity for me was just like the icing on the top of the cake, right? Because I was like, yeah, there has to be something here with the dolphin. And the dolphin is very playful, you know, and I feel like I have a playful nature at times as well. So it completely makes sense. Like, and as she was telling me this, she's also saying like, you know, I had this very like dark energy, like similarly to yours, how you said you had like a crow. I had just like
Mm-hmm.
a dark smog like inside of me that she pulled out from my mouth or something. Like she basically like pulled out this energy with her like Reiki healing or whatever she was doing, her shamanic chanting and like drumming and all this stuff. And this was through a Skype session, right? So it was kind of very weird. Like I was just like, whoa, what's happening to me right now?
Whoa.
And so,
Dude, like if it's in person, that's one thing, man. But
yeah,
over Skype, like, dude, this
it's
is
wild.
real.
Yeah, it's wild. It's really wild. I don't even know what I felt in that moment, but something happened. Something clicked. And,
Mm-hmm.
I just felt so refreshed after. It's like, when you take a really nice shower and you feel just like
Mm-hmm.
completely relaxed, like I just felt that after the session.
Mm.
And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure like drumming and like chanting, I'm sure a lot of that is also incredibly healing. Like because it's putting you in this trance state or this repetitive like if we both end up clapping, right? We're both gonna get into a vibe, right?
Oh, bang
Oh,
on, lady, bring her on down.
right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly, man. Like, and clapping, I think, is a way of sending love to people. Like, that's the way I see it. It's like when I clap, I'm like, this is for this friend. This is for my mom. This is
Oh
for
shit.
yeah. So when I clap, I send off like the vibration of the clap into a certain kind of direction to a person.
Dude, that's crazy because that you even mentioned that like clapping, and then I'm connecting it with like different claps for different emotions tell you,
Yeah,
right? They tell you what you're thinking, like, and like there's like the slow clap,
yeah,
right?
totally.
There's like the hard clap whenever you're like a standing ovation, you're like,
Yeah,
right? Different kinds of claps tell you about the person, right?
totally.
Crazy as fuck. Oh, also, I want to mention this real quick. I know we passed this already, but going mention something about the bowls. Um, there was like another like it was in part of that same session. She didn't put the bowl on me this time. It was she was just playing with it behind me, right?
Mhm.
And she had like these little bowls, and she was doing each one of them individually, and she was going from 1 2 3, and my body was going like it was going like that, like it was like fireworks popping in regions of my body
Mm.
according to the sound of the bowl. It was really
Wow,
cool. That was probably one of my favorite parts.
that's awesome, man. The fact that the Tibetan singing bowl can have such an effect on your body, on your consciousness, on all the
Ah!
stuff that's happening, right? It's so cool. Like it's really cool. I want to try that myself. Um, yeah, I think there's so many different kinds of things. Like there's wind chimes that people have, and like tuning fork therapy. Like a lot of people have the tuning
Mm,
fork, and then they get people to listen to the tone of the tuning fork and
mm.
align to a certain frequency. A lot of people, like I used to jam with my friends who used to play guitar and stuff in college. They just start playing music, and I just start rapping, or like we just start singing together. That creates a nice vibe, right? That kind of like being around a nice environment where everybody's like singing or like everybody's dancing. I think that creates such a nice container of space where you're just like, yeah, this feels good. People are creating, they are being creative, right? And I love that kind of energy, man. Like freestyle ciphers or like, just jamming and
Mm-hmm.
like telling weird jokes in a circle, whatever. It's just like a communal, social flow state, which is really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like group flow.
Definitely. I've gone to quite a few of these events, or like they're not even events. Like if you go to church, some churches in the beginning before they start, they just do praising. They're just praising, right? So everybody in the church is singing, and everybody is like moving, right? And they have a band, and everybody's playing.
Yeah.
And I've had so many breakthrough moments just by being in that environment. So many. Like I just remember one time I was like oh shit, I'm wearing these handcuffs without knowing I can just take them off.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm free. I'm free because I say so. I choose to be free. And I just remember I was like yelling it out as like everybody's singing, right? And I'm so sure that if I was not singing as well before that, I would have not been able to be free, right? Because it's like your body's vibrating, right? And when you're vibrating, it's it's a release. You know what I mean? It's air coming out. You're pushing
Totally, yeah.
out. Your hands are moving out. Your hands. This is what they do whenever they pray. They have their hands like this, or they put them to the air, right? Energy is flowing out from your hands outwardly.
Totally, yeah.
You know what I
That's why we
mean?
did this in the beginning, right? With the hands, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, man. That's awesome. That's really great. One final thing that I want to leave the people with is just talking about something that I've noticed that a lot of people struggle with, especially men, is they stumble over their words at times, or they mumble, or they feel awkward, or they stutter. A lot of people stutter.
Mm-hmm.
So one advice that I'd give you, especially from both of us coming from a theater background, is tongue twisters, right? Tongue twisters are a great way to strengthen that muscle so that you don't stumble over your words because you've done it so many times that it just feels natural rolling off your tongue. So one that I do is, and this is my friend Kaustubh who taught me this in this was like middle school, bro. But I'm going to just share this tongue twister with you. Betty bought a bit of butter, but the butter was too bitter, so Betty bought some better butter to make the bitter butter better. So
Wait, hold on. Let me try to say that. Betty Botter bought some butter. And then what?
Betty bought a bit of butter.
Oh, Betty bought a bit of butter.
But the butter was too bitter.
But the butter was too bitter.
So Betty bought some better butter
So Betty bought some better butter.
to make the bitter butter better.
To make the bitter butter better. Okay. All right. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to memorize this. Everybody can memorize this as well. What we're going to do is we're going to associate the words to our body parts. Okay. So Betty Botter bought some butter.
Betty bought a bit of butter, yeah.
Oh, what the fuck? Betty bought a bit of butter.
But the
But that
butter
was too bitter.
yeah. So Betty bought some better butter.
So Betty bought some better butter to make the better
bitter butter.
Man, fuck, to make the bitter butter better. Betty? I can't remember.
Now you're like,
All right,
why, Betty? Why, Betty? Why'd you have to buy that bitter butter? Why can't you just buy the regular bread?
You dumb hoe. Sumedh, where can we find you?
You can find me on www.flowzone, that's FLOZone, Academy, like a school.com, as well as facebook.com/SUMEDHC. Shoot me a message on there. Shoot me a friend request. I'm so open to conversing with you guys. I'm creating a lot of interesting projects and things like that. Ivan, I know you have a couple of courses also coming out, so this is exciting stuff.
Definitely.
Both of us are on the rise to be a service to you guys, to help you guys out, because business is essentially a service. It's solving problems. And so, yeah, Ivan, how can we get in touch with you, my friend?
For sure. Yo, find me on Instagram as ODD, which spells out odd, .resilience,
RESILIENS.
Yeah. True. I'm not very good at spelling words out loud. I'm good at writing them down. So odd resilience. It's my YouTube as well.
Mm-hmm.
And more importantly, you need to find the Better Man podcast on on Instagram. Like, we're posting exclusive content there. We're posting funny memes that are also spiritual. We have two accounts. You should follow both of them.
Yep, it's Better Man Podcast.
Better Man.
Yeah, Better Man Podcast altogether, and then there's the.better.man.podcast. There's one like that too. So yeah, follow them both
for sure.
And we appreciate you. Please shoot us a voice message on Anchor if you have anything to say to us, or directly shoot us. If you see this on Facebook, shoot us a message if you have any questions about it. If you want any questions answered on the podcast, we'd be open for that too. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Have a blessed day, and may the flow be with you.